everyone. Welcome. We survived 2021. Welcome to the last HorrorBuzz live show of the year. It's been quite a year, and as you can see, I'm here now in the Frida Cinema, where we hold our horror movie nights. And yes, so it's yes, we are going to get to it. We have a crazy show tonight, and oddly chill one as well. Um, we have our one of our correspondents in Canada uh, joining us tonight to talk about our favorite films this year. Lindsay is out tonight. She might pop in. She has the link to say hello, but she's out. She got her booster shot, so she is convalescing, and for some people it's no joke, and so it's cool. Also, if you guys want to follow us on Facebook or I'm giving you the link right now as I do every single week. And let's see here. And Danny, if you are there, please give us just all of the shit. Um, and let's see here. There's Twitter, there's Instagram, there is Facebook, there's Patreon. We're all here. We're all over the place, and that's what we're doing. And yeah, this is so crazy. We Yeah, it's going to be a fun show. It's going to be an interesting one. Let's bring on Chris Majtenyi right now. Chris, sir, how are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm, you know, I'm okay. I honestly can't complain too much. Um, but yeah, so why don't you do us a favor and introduce yourself to our viewers and or readers?
Well, my name is Chris Majtenyi. That's my tenny, like my tenny shoe has came untied. I know the spelling's a little bit tricky. I'm also known as the Cinematic Fanatic. That's my Facebook name. I have a Facebook page. You can just search that. You can find me. I do movie reviews. I've been doing this for a few years now, and somehow along the way, Norm found me, and I now work for HorrorBuzz.com. I'm from Niagara
Yay!
Falls, Canada.
Where exactly?
Niagara Falls, Canada.
Okay, so you're just on the Canadian fall side of Niagara Falls. So, I'm sorry, have you ever been?
Oh, of course, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like my backyard.
Well, I know it's like, but like me, I might get to the beach once or twice a year, and I live next to it, so I don't even, you know, who the heck knows?
Oh no,
Um,
totally understandable. I have a lot of very fond childhood memories there.
oh my God, is there anything like creepy or scary that happened to you, ghost wise, or anything like that around Niagara Falls, or no?
Not really, no, but there are a lot of like haunted houses and stuff on the
Hmm.
section in the falls called Clifton Hill. And if you go up and down the hill, there's different like Frankenstein's monster. There's all different kinds of horror related things that you can do there.
Wait, did you see that movie? Uh, wasn't there a movie? Oh, it was like a mystery movie, and David Cronenberg was in it, but he didn't direct it. Uh, in,
Oh,
Incident at Clifton Hills or something like that. It was real. I really
something like
liked it.
that.
It was
Yeah,
some
yeah,
kind of a
something like
weird
that.
mystery movie, but it was so good. Anyway, I digress. Chris, so happy to have you on, and love having as expansive a viewpoint as possible. Thank you for being here. And what time is it? Because right now here in California it's like 7. But what time is it out there?
It's 10 p.m. here.
Daggum. I'm so sorry.
Oh no,
So
it's fine. I've always been more of a night owl, so it's fine. I'd be up regardless.
I mean, aren't we all? Okay, so we've given everybody our handles. We've given everybody kind of the lowdown. And yeah, so tonight what we're going to do is talk about some of the noteworthy horror films we've seen throughout the year. And let's see. Oh, Peter, I'm sorry I wasn't there on Sunday. I had some family business to attend to and some more horror buzz web work on the back end there. But yeah, I missed you. So sorry about that. If you put stuff in the chat, I'll tell everybody about it. Okay. So or they can read it themselves. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to talk about one film, you're going to talk about one film that you enjoyed, and there you go. So starting off, okay, Sundance kicked off the year, and this was the year of the complete virtual Sundance, and I saw a film called Coming Home in the Dark. It was a New Zealand horror film about a couple and their kids. It was by James Ashcroft, and it was about a couple and their kids who just go and for a quick drive and a picnic out in out in nature, and these two wanderers show up and take them hostage. But there's a lot more at play than you expect, and it was oh, it got dark and weird and fun, and it was a damn good movie. So if you get a chance, see Coming Home in the Dark. So
That's
there you go.
interesting. I hadn't heard of that one before. That's
Oh,
interesting. I'll
yeah,
have to check
it was
it out.
really, if you go, I love going into a film cold because I
Absolutely.
like a clean canvas, not
Yes,
knowing if it's
exactly.
gonna go one way or the other. So
Hmm.
don't read what's on IMDb. Don't even, I mean, if you must, look at the trailer. But yeah, a school teacher and his family go out for a picnic, and some stuff goes down, and it's good. So I really
That
loved
sounds
it.
very interesting. You sold me.
Yeah. Okay, so Chris, what's one of the films that you want to talk about this time?
All right. The first one I'm going to bring up was one that I was really anticipating, and it was from a major horror movie franchise that I love. It's from Saw. It's called Spiral, the Book of Saw. It came
Ah,
out back in May, and I was very pleasantly surprised. After the last one, Chapter 8 was Jigsaw. I didn't really like that one very much. That was very disappointing. I don't like when movie sequels, especially for a major horror franchise, try to tamper with the history that's already been established, and they try to
well, what do you mean?
rework
Like,
it.
why? Like, how did they tamper with it, and what was so bad about the one before?
The one before tried to change what Jigsaw's first trap was, and they tried to change how he became Jigsaw.
Ah,
And I didn't like that because it was already been well established in like three, four films before that.
hmm.
This one actually continues the story, and it's about a copycat killer that admires Jigsaw, and it tries to broadcast his message in different ways. So it's got the unique traps and everything, but it's not Jigsaw doing it, it's someone else doing it. And they make it very clear early on Jigsaw is not alive. Like he's been dead all this time. Like in, I think it's number three, he dies. But, anyways, has Chris Rock in it and it has Samuel L. Jackson. And I was kind of skeptical at first, but I was very pleasantly surprised because I heard that the director from the second one, Darren Lynn
Yeah,
Bousman,
yeah,
Boozman, something
two
like
through
that.
four,
Yeah,
two
yeah,
through.
exactly.
Yeah,
He came back, so that got me kind of thinking, like, this might not be so bad. And then, yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised. Did you end up seeing that one?
I did not. However,
Oh,
uh, Jeff saw it, and he was actually invited to the studio to see it, and he totally loved it. Me again, I haven't seen it, so I don't know. Uh, but I've heard it's really strange. There were a few films this year that were pretty polarizing.
oh yeah.
Um, and this was one of them. Um,
Oh,
some people thought it was amazing. Other people thought it was like, come on, did you not see the end coming? Um, so, and me, I haven't seen it, so I can't tell you what I thought. But you loved it,
oh, I loved it.
and
I did
and
kind of see the end coming, but it didn't ruin the experience for me, if that makes sense.
wait,
Sometimes you can kind
okay,
of figure things
pause.
out.
Is there a kitten?
There is a kitten
It's a black kitten.
live and in the flesh.
Oh, what's the
Her
name?
name is Bella.
Bella?
Bella, yes.
Oh, hey, Bella. Everybody
She's 11.
send your fan mail to Bella at horrorbuzz.com. Okay, so she's like, what are you even doing?
Yeah.
Um, okay, excellent. Okay, so another film that I personally dug, oh my God, no pun intended, was called In the Earth. And
That's funny.
yeah, another Sundance film. It was from Ben Wheatley, and it was bizarre. It was a very strange film that it was about. Uh, okay, there's a virus going on, and a crazy, disastrous virus happening in the world. But at the same time, this one particular scientist and a park scout are supposed to go into the forest for a routine, like this, national forest in the UK or something, a routine equipment run, because there's another scientist out there that they lost contact with, and it's not a big deal. And so, so there's this uh, reflection of what was going on during COVID, and still going on, but at the same time, a weird mystery of like what's happening out in the forest. So, um, then strangeness ensues, as it often does during a horror film, and it just kind of it went down a really dark and very strange path.
Okay.
That again, if you the less you know, the better. Um,
I like movies like that.
yeah, but it was very tricky, very disturbing at times, and yeah, it I loved it. But also it comes with an epilepsy warning because
Really?
there are yeah, there are long stretches where there are flashing lights because in one scene there are, these floodlights that are set up in the
Right, right.
forest.
Yeah.
Um, and they're flashing, and so it's very disorienting. But um, yeah, crazy movie with some wince-inducing gore effects and a really interesting plot. Uh, they What they did was, because this showed at the 2021 Sundance Film
Right.
Festival,
Hmm.
which was all virtual.
Hmm.
So it was it was shot actually during the summer of 2020. Okay, so
Oh.
the pandemic had hit,
Hmm.
and then things started to loosen up slightly in the
Right.
UK, and that's when they shot it. They shot it with a skeleton crew and a skit like wait, there's one, two, there's like maybe five people in the entire film, and
Cool.
yeah, and they shot it in a national forest in the UK, and then things went bad again, so they were able to go into post and get everything all done, and they got it done in time for Sundance.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, so it was definitely a cool film by Ben Wheatley, and I recommend it. It's a slow burn. Just stay with it, be patient. You don't need instant gratification for something to be good.
Some of
just
the best
just
movies are slow burn.
Yeah, this one was fun. So that was In the Earth, and that was written and directed by Ben Wheatley. So check that one out. Now, what do you have?
The next one I want to talk about is Psycho Gorman. That was released back in January. And this one is a little more personal for me because it was filmed in St. Catharines, which is only
Oh,
about 20 minutes away from where I live. It was filmed here in Ontario. And it was by a Canadian director. I got his name, one second, in my notes here. Stephen Kostansky. He wrote it and he directed it. And it was all based on the idea of what if instead of ET being friendly, it was like a very dangerous, psychopathic, megalomaniac type alien. And then it just kind of goes from there because it's all about this alien that lands on Earth, but he loses his power because he has this little gemstone that a little girl finds. And then she ends up controlling the stuff that he does. And then it just kind of goes, I don't want to say too much because it's full of surprises and stuff like that. And it's surprisingly gory too, which is something I enjoy, but gore's not for everybody. I
wasn't it
understand
rated
that.
PG though?
I think it was rated PG in Canada. That's the funny thing because I was watching it, I was like, oh, like I
It's a
literally like
hard
my jaw
PG.
dropped. It's a hard PG, yeah. It's just it's so funny, like the way it blends comedy and horror. I really appreciate that kind of thing. It reminded me of like Shaun of the Dead, like that kind of style. It's funny,
Yeah,
but it's still a horror movie in its own right, and I love
we
stuff like that.
actually
It's a nice
presented
surprise.
Psycho Gorman at the Frida.
Oh, that's
for
right.
horror movie night, and I have to confess, I've not seen it, though I've heard nothing but good thing about it. And in fact, Amantha, one of the producers of Horror Movie Night,
Yeah.
um, she is like, "Yeah, that girl is me. The little girl is me." She's like, "That's me, and that's exactly what I would have done." And so, yeah, essentially, the little girl like
Yeah.
controls this monster because she has that stone, right?
Yeah. Exactly. And then
So,
because
go ahead.
he's all about power, right? And then all these
Yeah,
other aliens start coming to Earth because everyone wants this stone. And like I said, I don't want to say too much, but it gets really good from there. Like, it doesn't go the way you expect things are going to go, and
sure,
I like movies that surprise you like that. And it's Canadian, so how can I not support it and love it?
exactly. So, yeah, so Psycho Gorman, another major pick for the show, for the year actually,
Oh yeah,
and
top five.
yeah, I definitely need to see that. So that's my mistake.
I do believe it's on Shutter on Canada. I don't know about the States. I've noticed a lot of recommendations you gave me before aren't necessarily streaming in Canada when they're streaming in the States.
Sorry,
So,
sorry,
but
but we need to know
and
these things. We need to know
I
these
know it's
things
on
because
Shutter in Canada, so if you're watching in Canada, you can watch it.
excellent, excellent. Okay, another film that I thought was very good was Werewolves Within.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that one was a lot of fun. That was, Josh Rubin doing his Josh Rubin thing with a really fun script by Mishna Wolf, and it was based on a video game, and it's basically, a murder mystery with werewolves in a small town during a winter storm. Um, I thought that it was hilarious at times. I thought it was tricky. Um, I thought that Josh Rubin's touch this time was a good match for the material because it was very quippy, very fast. The dialogue is very snappy, but the some of the reveals were hilarious, like when they found the body on the porch and then yeah. So
Yeah,
hilarious, but shocking and funny, and yeah, I dug it, and I didn't see the end coming. So, what about you?
same here. I saw it on Netflix, and oh, that was a nice surprise because one of those ones you go through the list and then you see the preview. You're like, huh, that looks kind of interesting because I went into it cold. I only saw the one preview that it shows, and
Yeah.
I was amazed. It's so funny, and like you said, there's just so much things going on. You're like, wait, but who's the werewolf? And that's what it's all about. You got to figure out who's the werewolf.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
basically
like an
it,
old
you
classic
know?
horror movie, like the old school werewolf movies, but with like that modern spin and that comedic twist.
Yeah. So, another title for everybody to be looking out for, Werewolves Within. Now, what else do you have, Chris?
Next one I want to talk about is the Nighthouse. It's an independent film. It might not be as well known
I
as some of these other
I
titles.
saw that at Sundance in 2019.
Oh wow! Well, it just got released this year. I think it was August when it came out. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was a really good one. It's all about a widow who's dealing with the loss of her husband, but then she finds out when she's going through the house that there's some secrets that she didn't really know about that the wheels start turning, and then the more she investigates, the more things don't add up. And that's really all I can say about it because it's just so good that you just
Mhm.
it's one of those movies that you have to see to believe because the way it's shot with the camera angles and the way it does the shadows and the light and it just really messes with your head. It's one of those psychological like paranormal movies, I guess you call it, but it's so much more than that. Like it's so complex and it's so
Right.
layered. It's a little more personal for me too because I'm also dealing with loss because
Mhm.
last year I lost my husband to diabetes, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry.
stuff about that, about grief and things like that, are more personal for me. So it really connected to me that way.
The, I think some of a few of the scenes that to me were the most effective were the scenes of, I guess, raw grief and honesty. Like, for instance, the film opens with her coming home after the funeral with a casserole of whatever crap somebody made for her, and she just is standing there in the kitchen, and it's all quiet. Finally, it's a dead silent moment, and she just shoves it in the trash, and that's how the movie starts. She's just like over it.
Yeah, just
And yeah, and then the craziness starts to ensue with the stereo turning on in the middle of the night, and then her discovering blueprints, and
and the
then
footprints.
yeah, and footprints leading out to the dock, and yeah, so that was a really interesting title, The Nighthouse, and that was Rebecca Hall.
Rebecca Hall, yeah. I couldn't think of her name.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, she is really cool. I got to interview her, and she's just lovely.
Such a
So the
good
next
actor.
film that, yeah, she's wonderful. And she has a new one. She has a new one coming called Resurrection. So I'm excited to see that.
Okay, sounds good.
So let's see here. The next one that I have, and this one, this was the year of the polarizing film. I got to tell you, this
Oh,
one
for sure.
was Titan or Titan. I forget it. It's a Julia Ducournau film. She did Raw, and then she did this film as a follow-up, and it's about a young girl who gets in an accident very early at it, like as a young girl, and grows up to have a bizarre physical connection to machinery and vehicles and things like that. And it's just, my 3-letter review is WTF. I mean, like, you really just don't know what you're watching, and it keeps morphing and changing and being something else. And it's just, persistently disturbing and yucky and weird, but you can't look away. And um, it was you got to see that thing. I mean, it was just brilliant. So,
Sounds interesting.
ooh, it was. Yeah, and again, I suppose the other thing that you and I agree on is going into a film cold,
Oh, for sure.
because I really had no idea where this film was going to head. If anybody has seen the film Raw, that was a film about a vegan who, through a hazing ceremony, had to eat meat, and then gained an insatiable craving for raw flesh of all sorts.
Oh,
So
it's pretty good.
it was so Raw is
Oh, great.
so good, but this one is just, yeah, it's just what, like that, like one of
Head
the
scratcher.
people, yeah, one of the people that, but you love it. That's the weird thing. You have no idea what you just watched, but you liked it, and you knew that you were in the hands of just an absolutely phenomenal and talented powerhouse of a director and writer. So just Titan, Titane. If I'm mispronouncing it, I apologize. But yeah, that was one of my other picks. And what about you?
All right, the next one is probably one of the most polarizing films of the year, based on like the reviews that I posted online on Facebook, and based on the response and all the back and forth between the two. It's
Mm.
*Malignant*. Back in October, that got released, and oh my God, what a movie! It's from James
Did
Wan.
you want to know that was the next one on my list?
Oh, is it really? That's hilarious. Rest in peace.
Oh my god. Okay, so
Now you gotta pick
please,
another one.
no, please go ahead, please.
Okay, so ever since like 2000, when the first Saw came out, James Wan has slowly become one of my favorite directors. After he did The Conjuring and after he did the Insidious movies, I was really wowed by him. And then as soon as I heard he had an original movie coming out, I was like so there. And I was very pleasantly surprised. It's not for everyone. There are a lot of plot holes that you kind of have to overlook. But if you just kind of sit back and just think of it as like one of those cheesy 70s, 80s horror movies, because it calls back to a lot of those, you will have fun. This is, oh, it's just bloody, and it's just this intriguing mystery, and it's just, oh, there's so much to it. It's hard to describe it without spoiling it, because, you don't want to ruin it for people like that. But, oh, it's good.
Well, I mean, like, I can give it a shot. I mean, it was about a lady um, who has a mysterious connection with a serial killer that keeps
Yeah, it has like
popping up, and
vision.
she keeps having these psychic visions of these murders happening, and
Yeah,
then things only get stranger from there, if you can believe it. Um,
Yeah,
I I gotta tell you, I I loved that movie so much
I love it so
because
much.
because it was so ballsy in the way that it just went for it. I mean, it felt like it felt very Asian horror,
Yeah,
and it kind of went into this there's a revelation and a mystery and a killer on the loose and all these strange things happening, and then it takes this sudden left turn, and when it does, I mean, my sister and I were watching it together and we just started cackling like, "Oh my god, this,"
it's just
and then
so
it just
insane.
goes
Yeah,
off the rails, and, like, there's blood everywhere, and, I mean, it was just, I'm sorry, but to be in the capable hands of James Wan doing something so outlandish and risky, that to me was the most fun.
and it's original too. Like he's trying to
Yeah.
start another horror franchise. It seems like.
Yeah, they're talking about making a sequel. What do you think about that?
I would watch 10 of those movies if they made them. If they're all like that.
I I would want them to double down on the crazy.
Yes.
If they're going to do it, then do it. Don't
Yeah.
bring a new surprise, bring something into it. Um and yeah, just take us there, give us what we saw in the first one. But yeah, so I was going to talk about Malignant, but I
Sorry
will
about that.
say that
I stole
one
your
of my
pick.
last No, it's fine, it's fine. Do you have one more? Because we only have time for one more each.
Okay, yeah.
So I have my last one that my cord's getting in the way. I have my last one that I thought was amazing, and that was Candyman. Now I know that you weren't a big fan of it, but I found it to be a very relevant reimagining of a classic, and I thought it was Nia DaCosta did a nice job with that film. And yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was a damn good movie. But what was your final pick?
My final pick was Last Night in Soho. That's my absolute favorite horror movie of the year.
Ah, that's awesome.
I love that movie so much. It's just so gorgeous. It's all about this girl who starts having dreams about this other girl in the past. And then it turns into this murder mystery. And then it turns into so much more than that. And just the way it was shot with the music, it's just so beautiful to look at. Just, oh, I could watch the movie on repeat. It's so good. Last Night in Soho.
See, I did not get to see Last Night in Soho, but Max
Ooh.
Mata, one of our other film critics, loved it, and I love Edgar Wright stuff. So you know,
Edgar Wright's an
so it
amazing
was
writer and director.
it was a pretty interesting year for film, for horror. And we're not even going to talk about how much we hated Halloween Kills.
No, we're not going to
We're
talk about
not.
that.
We're not going to talk about how the entire film Laurie stayed in the hospital. You
Nope,
know.
we're not going to talk about how no one told. We're not going to talk about anything about that. No, mm-mm.
No, no.
People dies
Um,
tonight.
but what I would like to see in Halloween Ends. Let's do that. What I
Okay.
would like to see in Halloween Ends is Laurie waking up from a very bad dream. Um, that was supposed to be, that was Halloween Kills, and then ending the series on a dignified note. What about you?
Yeah, she wakes up from the fire from Halloween 2018, and she's in the hospital, and they're like, "What are you talking about? That never happened." And then they just kind of go from there.
Yeah, I would like a nice reset. That would be fine.
I just
Um,
wish they planned out a trilogy, if that's what their intent was. You know what I
well,
mean? Like,
that's what they were trying to do, but 2018
fine.
made cash,
But we're
and
going to talk
well,
about how that one ignores the events of the first one and made the first one didn't matter. We're not going to talk about
no, 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 no,
that.
stop. So, yeah, overall, it was a pretty good year for horror movies, and we've given you some recommendations there. Is there anything else you want to share, Chris?
It was a very divisive year, and it was a very interesting year of horror. But I'm really glad that we're able to talk about this. And it's interesting how we had like five or six each. Only one of them was the same, and that's funny.
I know, I
That just
know.
shows
That's
like the
fun.
contrast and how much horror is available out there right now. It's amazing. It was a great year for horror.
I'm just so glad we agreed on *Malignant* because, damn it, that was fun.
Oh, so
That
much
was.
fun.
I think that was easily one of the funnest, the most fun films of the year. Funnest. You guys correct me. Um, but yeah, that was a good one. I dug it. But anyway, so that's that. Thank you, Chris, so much for joining us at this late hour in Niagara Falls. And please don't get in a barrel. Do not go over the falls.
Oh, been there,
Stay
done that.
safe. Huh?
Been there, done
What?
that. Been there,
You're
done
like, yeah,
that.
yeah, whatever. Um, keep Bella out of trouble and stay safe. And
Well,
ladies
thank
and
you for
gentlemen,
having me.
you're welcome, dude. You're welcome. And always love a good spirited discussion of film and horror in general. But for everyone out there, please stay safe, stay healthy, and we are going to get back to you in the new year. And man, there's some good stuff coming. So, Chris, again, thank you so much. And everybody, we will see you in the fog.